So welcome everyone. We've got another Sporting Memories quiz for you today, and a little bit of maybe a little bit more unusual theme because it's called royalty and sport. So how well do you know royalty in terms of competing in sport? Maybe it's a sport with a royal name. Maybe it's somebody who's been knighted by the Queen for their involvement in sport. Maybe it's someone who was a lord or a lady or a duchess who's been involved in a sport. So anything involved with royalty and sport I've touched on in this quiz. So the usual 15 questions, usual format. Most of them are not multi-choice, they're just straight questions, and see how we go. So if you're ready, we'll start with number one, and the first question involves golf. So all you golf fans should be okay with this. Here we are. Number one. Which royal golf course did Tony Jacklin win the British Open in 1969? At which royal golf course did Tony Jacklin win the British Open, one of the sports majors, in 1969? So that's going back a few years now. But what royal golf courses can you think of? And can you maybe whittle it down to the one he was involved in? So that's number one. Number two, football this time. So we're thinking of somebody who's been knighted by the Queen. Who is the first and only English footballer to be knighted while still playing? Who is the first and only English footballer to be knighted while still playing football in his career? So you might have to go back in time a little bit. It's a well-known name, so have a little think about that. Number two. Number three, we're looking at a princess this time. At which Olympic Games did Princess Anne compete in eventing? So you might remember her sport was eventing, which is equestrian, cross-country, show jumping. So at which Olympic Games did Princess Anne compete in eventing? Which Olympic Games, hence which year was that? So maybe you can have a bit of a stab in that one to see which one that is. Number four, going back to football, this is quite an interesting one. Which football club has got the nickname the Posh? So we're thinking of royalty, they're normally quite posh, aren't they? So which football club has got the nickname the Posh? And this was in the press quite a bit back in the early 2000s. Little clue there for you. Which football team is known as the Posh? Question number five. Wimbledon this time. Which duchess was well known for giving out the trophies to the winners at Wimbledon from 1969 until 2001? Who was that duchess? Can you remember? I'm sure you've seen her time and time again handing out trophies. She doesn't do it anymore at Wimbledon, but she had a long spell there, didn't she, of handing out the prizes. Who was that duchess? Number six, staying with the royal family this time. Which royal is currently the president of the Football Association? Which royal is currently the president of the Football Association? Who is that royal? That's number six. Number seven, changing royal families this time. So we're moving over to the Principality of Monaco. So Princess Grace of Monaco, you're probably aware of her. She was originally known as Grace Kelly, the actress. And her father won 3 gold medals. But in what event? So her father was called John Kelly, and he was dominant in a particular sport, obviously, winning 3 gold medals. But what was his sport? So that's the father of Grace Kelly, John Kelly. What sport did he win 3 gold medals? That was number 7. So number 8, going a bit more local now, down to the area of Stamford. Anybody ever been to Burghley House? If you have, you might get this next question. So Lord Burghley, obviously of Burghley House near Stamford, famously won a gold medal at the 1928 Olympic Games and a silver at the 1932 Olympic Games. But in what sport was he best known? So in what sport was Lord Burghley well known? And it was the sport in which he won that gold medal. What was his sport? What did he compete in? So that's question number 8. Lord Burghley. What was his sport? Number 9. A little bit more recent times. Which sport do you most closely associate with Prince Charles? Which sport do you most closely associate with Prince Charles? I'm not aware if he plays this game anymore. I doubt if he does. He was often getting injured in it. It's quite an interesting sport. Which sport is that? Number 10. We're looking back now at Princess Anne. Princess Anne appeared on the 200th edition of the Question of Sport TV quiz programme. But who was her team captain that day? So Princess Anne, she competed on the 200th edition of Question of Sport, but who was her team captain on that day? Quite a famous moment in Question of Sport. I'm sure you've probably seen clips of it, or you maybe even remember watching it, as I do. Number 11. So, the next one. Described as Britain's most prestigious open age flat race and held at Royal Ascot, what is this race called? I'll just repeat that. Described as Britain's most prestigious open age flat race and it's held at Royal Ascot, what is this race called? Can you think of the name of this very prestigious horse race? You may have even been. Okay, so that was number 11. So now question number 12. Which granddaughter of the Queen has won a silver medal as member of the Great Britain eventing team at London 2012? Which granddaughter of the Queen won a silver as member of the Great Britain eventing team at London 2012? Can you think of the name and who that might be? Granddaughter of the Queen. Moving on to question 13, moving royal families now. And we're going back to Monaco. Before she was a princess, Charlene, the wife of the current Prince Albert of Monaco, was an Olympian. But in what sport did she compete? So before she was a princess, Charlene, the wife of the current Prince Albert of Monaco, was an Olympian. But in what sport did she compete? That's number 13. Number 14. Lord Coe, otherwise known as Sebastian Coe, competed in 2 Olympic Games, and he retained his Olympic title 4 years later. But in what event did he retain his title? So Lord Coe competed in 2 Olympic Games, retained his Olympic title 4 years later. In what event did he retain his Olympic title? So that's number 14 on Lord Coe. And finally, number 15 goes like this. What is the name of the Royal Rowing event which takes place annually on the Thames and lasts for 5 days? What is the name of the Royal Rowing event taking place annually on the Thames, lasting for 5 days. So that's the full 15 on royalty and sport. I hope you enjoyed the variety of questions. We had some lords in there, didn't we? We had a couple of people who were knighted. We had plenty of sports with royal in their name. So I hope it's conjured up a few memories maybe and got you thinking a little bit as well of some of the events we've mentioned. So I'll go through the answers tomorrow evening, and in the meantime, take care and bye bye for now.